In this session, we are going to see the transport and communication in 19th century England. Today, we enjoy all modes of transport. Hats off to the pioneers and the people who paved the way for this transportation. Initially in 19th century England, which commenced from January 1st, 1801 and ended on December 31st, 1900, the long 19th century refers to 125-year period from 1789 to 1914 by Ilya Ehrenberg and Eric Hobsbawm. This term refers to the notion that the period reflects a progression of ideas which are characteristic to an understanding of the 19th century in Europe. The transport and communication through this 19th century can be explored in the following main ways, especially with the key developments: inland waterways, railways, shipping, road transport, air transport, information technology, and communication. By the novels, which reflects the transportation, how far it is widespread. Even in the novels, it is reflected in 19th century. Economic consequences, construction and maintenance of linkages, operational linkages, and service linkages. The Britain's seaways, at least 50 canals and navigations were authorized, including several trunk routes, and they were designed to improve the transport of coal in the northwest of England, which was brought to the south. In France, where waterway development was also concentrated upon the industrializing regions, many canals were built between 1815 to 50. Waterways of southern Europe were mostly unsuitable as trading routes due to their shortness and unnavigability. Waterway output continued to grow throughout the 19th century, which paved way for the development in seaways. Railways in Britain, 19th century. Britain led the way to the construction of long-distance steam-driven railway systems. By 1850, almost 10,000 kilometers had been built, which is a tremendous task. By World War I, many systems had been completed. The largest were those of Austria-Hungary, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Sweden, and UK. Major trunk routes were generally built first because of the great economic importance and profitability. Construction of capital-intensive railway networks of the 19th century provides interesting view of contemporary attitudes to the government intervention in the transportation of 19th century. From the middle of 1870s, there was significant movement towards public ownership of the railways, which was done for raising revenues than notions of unification and rationalization. Urban underground electric trains were developed at the end of 19th century. When it comes to shipping as a mode of transport, it was the important effective mode of transport in the beginning of 19th century. British and French shipping had been the main beneficiaries of the growth of colonial trades with the American continent, India, and East Indies. Steamboat was used. In the first decade of 19th century, they were shortly in use as a river craft. By 1820s and 30s, larger engines, more efficient paddles brought steam into coasting. In 1840s, paddles replaced most efficient screw propellers. And in the following decade, compound engine of Elder Randolph was patented that we are able to see. And the roadways, 1815 to 1850, 7,000 kilometers of main highways and 23,000 kilometers of departmental roads were laid in Britain and France. New materials were introduced to strengthen the preserved roads, including concrete and macadam in Britain, asphalt in France. Improved technology, the demonstration effect of progress in Britain and France stimulated the entire Europe. Professional common carrier were full-time long-distance specialists, while the local peasant carrier were part-time local occasional carriers. The middle decades of the 19th century also saw the growth of horse-drawn omnias in the main European cities. Airways, so hats of the Wright brothers who invented the airways. Wright brothers had completed the first controlled flight by a heavier than vehicle 1903. Pioneers were mainly from transport, ground, farming, for example, sold motor vehicles and later produced car-free lamps. Earliest air company, Deutsche Luftschiffe Action Gesellschaft, was formed in 1909 and operated regular flights. The First World War drew attention to the potential value of air transport from Deutsche and Lefschat. The IT made a tremendous progress in this century. Movement of information is the same transport modes as the movement of people and goods. 19th century development of steam, shipping, railways increased speed and regularity of information transport. On 18th February 1911, the first official mail flown by airplane, and second half of the 19th century, introduction of the telegraph telephone provided the first opportunity for instantaneous communication. In 1870s, 80s, number of European countries such as Britain, France began to develop regional national telephone networks. Information technology timeline is very significant for us to know. In 1892, Claude Sharp established first long-distance telegraph. In 1831, Joseph Henry proposed built an electric telegraph. 1836, Samuel Morse developed Morse code. And 43, Samuel Morse built the first long-distance electric telegraph line. Patent issued for the electric printing telegraph, the early forerunner of the fax machine. In 76, Alexander Graham Bell and Thomas Watson exhibited electric telephone in Boston. 77, in 1877, Thomas Edison patented the phonograph. In 89, Almond Strauger patented the direct dial. The political achievements also affected the transportation system. Railway companies among the earliest business enterprises to adopt more sophisticated capital accounting methods for understanding the need of depreciation and amortization. Profits from transport operations created lateral linkages to reinvestment. Since land-based operations of the maritime industries were geographically concentrated, this brought notable benefits to the locality of a thriving port in England. Many of the rapidly growing regions in Europe in 18th century surrounded major ports such as case of Liverpool, Bristol, and Bordeaux. Quicker, cheaper, more regular, comprehensive transport was enjoyed by the people, reducing the freight factor fosters marketing integration. It provided a widening of markets and paved way for breakdown of local monopolies and other restrictions on competition, decline of subsistence, faster, more extensive passenger and mail services provided better contacts between business associates, between producer and consumer. It also served to standardize tastes and fashions across a broader area, and thereby providing a scope for longer, more homogeneous production runs. So railways integrating trade, railway systems were more comprehensive than waterways when road haulage was reorganized in complementary short hauls. Great increases in speed resulted fastest road services in the mid 19th century. Integration of national markets through the railways can be seen by the decline of regional price differences between producing, consuming areas. Shipping industries played a major role in the emergence of international markets and institutions. So together, the roadways, the transportation in all and communication of 19th century marked a milestone in the social history of England.